Cassandra is a somatic transformational coach who guides women toward overcoming trauma through her five-phase pain into power process. She has a mastery in clinical EFT tapping, brain spotting, somatic attachment therapy, as well as being very involved in visual and performing arts. During her teen years that were abusive and very traumatic, you lived in survival mode. What was that like for you as a teenager?
Oh, it was so confusing, and painful and hard, where most people only had to worry about, electives or, going to school and getting good grades. I actually had to worry about so many other things. Like, I had to worry about making money to provide for myself. I had to worry about taking care of the house, because my mom abandoned the house. She had gotten involved with this woman and was doing daycare with her kids, and that woman wasn't on a great trajectory, like, she was into drugs, they were into swinging, her and her husband, and, my mom abandoned the house and went to their house where they were doing these kind of parties and things. So, like, I had to take care of the house, the cats, we had, like, 4 cats, and I actually had a job too, so I was going to school full time, I had a job, I also would babysit kids and, clean houses. And it was just too much, like, and my stepdad, he was actually home with me. However, he would go to the bar every night, drink, and he would forget me at work. And I was like 30 minutes away. So, like, I had to rely on strangers to get home. I had to become really resourceful and lean into people I didn't even know, to get where I needed to go sometimes. And it was really hard. I remember at one point, I was debating, like, because I heard the term of divorcing your parents, right? And then when I went down that rabbit hole, I was just like, well, dang, then I would have to figure out rent and all this other stuff. And I was like, not quite ready for that yet. So I kind of just stayed put. But yeah, it was really hard. It was really hard.
It sounds miserable. It's not what a teenage life is really supposed to be like, is it?
Yeah.
The relationship models you had, was it inevitable that you chose abusive relationships as a
Oh,
young?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Even, like, cause my mom was also in that pattern, cause the men she ended up with were also abusive. And granted, when she got with my stepdad, the one that's been with us since I was 8, he was healthier, but, like, he had a lot of, like, temper issues, like, where he would yell and he was avoidant and, he would call us names. I remember one time he called me a cunt, and I didn't even know what that was, and I had to, like, look that up, but, like, stuff like that. So that also had a lasting impact as well. But before him, they were way worse. Like, one of them was a sexually abusive, person, and then the one before that had, like, rage stuff, alcohol abuse, and actually, my biological father was also an alcoholic, which is why she left him before I was born. So it's almost like the transgenerational trauma, right, just got, like, passed on to me, and, because I didn't have that guidance, of or even that model of, like, healthy well, I kinda did because I had my god family. However, they weren't in my day-to-day, and so I just kinda ended up in, like, similar patterns of my mom.
I think we can't help but pass on what we've been given unless we take a completely uh, turn to a different journey, which you eventually did. When
Yeah.
did the journey of healing begin?
Oh, it started really young, actually, because I was just like I was either gonna, like, destroy myself, quite literally. I was definitely dancing with the idea of not wanting to be alive.
Mhm.
And I was never brave enough to, like, do that. However, I did, like, do things like get really, really drunk and drive, hope something happened. Nothing ever happened. Luckily, I didn't hurt anybody else either. But yeah, it was really destructive. I just didn't want to be here, didn't see the point in life. I did get onto personal growth and development work young. I think one of my first things that I saw was you remember those infomercials with Tony Robbins?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I remember seeing that, and then there was this other infomercial. It was some kind of thing for, like, anxiety and depression, and I actually ordered that thing, and I got his book. So those were, like, the really, really early years of personal development, and then I ended up in a Meisner acting class, which in that class was really a blessing because it kind of brought me to the present moment. Before that moment, I was really in autopilot, totally on like my default setting of programming. And that class kind of brought me to the present moment. And from there, I branched off into other realms of personal development and healing work. Um, but when I became pregnant at 30, any of the work that I thought I had done hadn't gotten to the roots, and
Mhm.
so it was like starting all over again, facing being a single mom, baby on the way, starting back at my mom's, which was not the ideal place, obviously, because of all that stuff. And I was faced with like, okay, well, I've tried so many things. However, I haven't tried, healing this relationship with a higher power. I was really angry. I was like,
Wow.
if there is a higher power, how on earth would they let kids, innocent kids, because I was an innocent kid at one point, go through these like really awful nightmare experiences? I felt so forgotten. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole because I've tried so many others. And as I started to repair that relationship, it guided me to like a school where I got to learn tools to ground and protect my energy. And then it led me to somatic work.
I'm amazed that I'm amazed, first of all, at the journey that you have followed and
Yeah.
how you were, guided by a higher power to find the steps that began to be healing for you.
hmm
Looking back from this distance to those years, what were the blessings that have come out of that time in your life?
Uh, the time of healing,
Yes.
or yeah. So, well, there were so many blessings even when I was still kind of in it. Like, even making the choice to have my daughter, it's like my life started to turn around right then.
Yes.
Because it was like starting life over from scratch, facing being a single mom, something I never wanted to be, right? Like, I always wanted what my mom didn't have. And I wanted kind of what my godfather had. He married his high school sweetheart, and they've been together ever since. Obviously, that wasn't my story, but,
Yeah.
like, so I was facing that. In that time frame, I knew, like, however I lived my life before, I couldn't continue that way, and I chosen to, yes, I'm having my daughter, and from that point, another baby was birthed, which was doing my art at events and special occasions.
Yes.
And it was intuitively guided, right? Like, I just asked this girl, like, "Hey, could I come set up in the back of your event?" And she said yes. And I thought it was just like, this temporary thing, and it just kept growing like for a decade.
Mhm.
Um, and then obviously the pandemic made me have to pivot because the events came to a halt, right? So that's a whole nother story. But
Yeah.
yeah, just making that choice to have my daughter just put me on this trajectory. So my daughter came out of that. My business, Sea Love, came out of that. And eventually the partner I'm with now came out of that. It was like a little bit down the line, but a couple more learning lessons around relationship and learning that I had boundaries and choosing with more discernment about partners, right? That took a while. But yeah, these blessings came from that for sure.
Having a child changes everything.
Everything. Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell us, i- define body art or body artist.
Oh, yes, I can actually show you photos. So it's not, I can't just call it face painting, right? Because like when you see my art and then you think of face painting, they don't match, right? So
Knew it had to be more face
it's
paint.
really creative. Yeah. Oops, that's the wrong one. I should have had this ready to go. Here we go. So stuff like this.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
like, super magical, kinda like high fashion, avant-garde type, makeup, like, let's see another one I can give you. Oh, yeah, this one was cool. Like,
Oh,
trying to
wow.
get the glare off of it. Yeah, stuff like this.
It's a real transformation.
Yeah, that was the thing, like, so people would come to my chair feeling, whatever, maybe not so great, but then when they would leave my chair, they would feel so magical and in touch with, like, a higher being, which translates into the work I do now too. Like, I used to make people feel better just by, sparkling up their face, but now, like, I help them feel better from the inside.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
So the inside begins to match what you were doing on the outside.
exactly, they, like, have a meeting point, right?
You mentioned in the article on Authority Magazine how important it was to surrender to your circumstances. What does that mean to you, that term, surrender to your circumstances?
Yeah, so it's a really great one because yeah, people get really confused with this. The more that I like sat in like resisting where I was at, like the more I judged myself where I was at, or the more that I tried to force myself out of the place I was at, like versus just, like fully owning where I was at in my life, the more I just wouldn't budge anywhere. Like I was just stuck there. Like I had to get to this point of just accepting everything as it was and
Yeah,
being there fully without judging myself or beating myself up or all these things, right? Because those become anchors and they'll hold you there. So it's just like, like I surrender, I'm here. And once I did that, like the solution started to come through.
yes.
But it was like the more that I was like fighting where I was at or resisting, it was like I couldn't see a way out or through.
You had to accept what was true in the moment with
Yeah,
judgment. I believe
without
that
judgment.
it nails our feet to the floor.
Yeah.
Judgment keeps us from moving forward.
Yes.
So, how have you turned your experience into benefits for other people?
Um, so one thing is my book, which is on pre-sale now, Into the Light, Becoming My Own Hero. It's on pre-sale now and it will be out on Amazon in October. That's one way.
Congratulations.
Um, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it took forever to get to that point too, right? Because I had to feel 100% good or like just zero shame about like I had to get to the point of 100% appreciation for it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, so
Yes.
that I could share it from a place of healing versus like victimhood or being still stuck in it. That way, when you read the book and the journey, the transference of the transformation comes through the pages, so that it can be a light guiding other people out of their own darkness. So yeah, the book is there, but then I also have my pain into power process that I walk people through, where they get to transform their pain into power. And it's different for everyone. Some people it is childhood trauma. Some people it's just a traumatic experience. Some people it's just limiting, disempowering beliefs that are getting in the way. So, but transforming that into like your purpose and passion and setting you free is the process that I walk them through. And then for people who can't afford my program, I do talks on Share Well Now, specifically around regulating your nervous system, because that's like one of the keys that I found to transforming my life. And then I also do these really awesome boot camp workshops with another trauma coach. We call it Thrive Tribe, and we do different themes. And we do it every other month, and they're super cheap, 90 minutes, but you get two coaches and you get to be in a community. So I have different layers of support I offer people.
Gosh, that's awesome. I have so much respect and admiration for you, Cassandra. Those who are watching this video can connect with you on Instagram,
Mhm.
and you can connect with, let's see, Instagram is, why don't you spell it out for them, your Instagram title?
Yeah. Okay, so it's C_love_Lambert is
Very,
my page. Yeah.
very good. Please read the entire article on Authority Magazine. It's full of a lot of wisdom that's been very hard won.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And look for her new book coming out in October on Amazon called Into the Light, Becoming My Own Hero.
Yeah.
Cassandra, Thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is such an honor.
Oh, honor for me as well. Privilege to hear your story and to witness your determination be to to take the journey that has led to such amazing healing.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.